Hey, and welcome back to Real Talk with the Lugos. We are back at you with our market update for April. And if we haven't met yet, I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Bryce.
And we are realtors at My Home Group Real Estate here in Scottsdale, Arizona. And we're obsessed with helping you navigate a successful home purchase and or home sale. If you're into that kind of thing, be sure to hit subscribe to this channel and don't forget to hit that bell notification icon to be notified every time we're dropping new videos just like this. Well, Bryce, it's been a crazy couple of months getting into the spring of the real estate market. So I figured it was a good time to do a quick update on the market and kind of talk about some of the things that we're seeing now going into April.
I don't know. It doesn't feel like a whole lot's changed in the sense that it's hot out there for buyers and sellers. It's things are moving very, very quickly. Inventory levels are low. What we want to talk about now is just prices. Things are selling well above list price. I think the Cromford report has things selling 44% of the time is what we see is they're selling above asking price right now.
Yeah, and I think that's one question that we're getting a lot right now from buyers is like, how much over ask are we talking and how often is this actually happening? So 44% in all price points that's happening?
Yeah, that's across the board.
Okay.
But and it's all the way up into the luxury realm too, if you will. I mean, things are just going for above list.
So it's something that we're seeing with our buyers too. How often personally are we seeing this on our team? Does it feel like?
So this year, probably 85 or 90% of our deals have gone above list price.
Yeah.
So we did have one that just closed this week, and we wrote it with an escalation clause to go above list price, but it didn't have to come into play. They had multiple offers, but we were able to just get it for list price. But in general, right now, every single one of our offers, there's every single home we're writing an offer for is having to be above list in order to beat the competition.
Yeah.
There's multiple offers on every home we're writing on, so you got to be prepared to come above that list price.
Yeah. Which price points are we seeing impacted the most right now by this?
Under 400,000.
Okay.
It's the most competitive price point. Most buyers are in that price point.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just anything above that, there might be fewer buyers, although there's still just so many buyers in the market, so they're still seeing it above it. But the heavy pool, at least for us especially, is under 400K.
Yeah. And how much on average are we seeing them pay out of pocket over list price?
So like out of pocket meaning the appraisal didn't happen, or?
Ooh, good question. How
So,
much are they initially offering over list price?
Like 10K,
Okay.
I think. But it's more to me like a percentage of the property's value. So, a $250,000 home, 10K is, a different percentage than it would be on a $400,000 home. So I think honestly, we're seeing more like 3% as a good starting point, and then going up. I did see a property. We wrote on a property for a client that was probably listed a little bit low. We wrote 10% over list price, and it ended up selling. It had 27 offers, and it sold for 20.1% over list price.
Yeah.
And it had multiple offers at that price point. So that was $52,000 over list price.
Nuts.
So it's just all over the board. I think this goes back to some of the stuff we've talked about before, is the conversations and communication with other agents that we have, and identifying, maybe kind of like have that conversation and see if they'll give you anything as far as terms that you need to be at. That's what we're seeing works for us.
Yeah.
We haven't had anybody have to pay anything that high, but we had clients this last week that won an offer and they're $15,000 over list price, and list price was $475.
Mm-hmm.
So that's about 3%.
We have these conversations with our buyers, and you always have a really good response to why would we do that? Like, isn't that overpaying? How do you kind of talk about that?
I don't know. The way that I explain it, at least, is if you're going to be in the home for a while, Cromford report shows market values continuing to rise. Like there's no slow according to that. So if you're going to be in the home for a while, look at it. You could look at it like deferred equity in the home. The value might not be there right now if you're paying above a low appraisal. but do you want to live there rather than rent? Your rent's $2,000 a month. At 12 months, that's 24 grand that's just gone.
Yeah.
So if you're going to be in the property for a while, if you're going to pay $15,000, yes, it's above what the appraiser said it's worth. It's above market value, but market value can be interpreted as what a buyer and seller come to mind on. That's what they say it's worth, but the appraiser says it's worth something else. So if you're going to throw $15,000 above that appraisal, consider it your deferred equity. If you're going to be there long enough, with hopes that the market values across the valley do continue to rise, according to Cromford again. So if you were to sell in a few years, 3, 4, 5, that money you've put in, you could be getting back out when you sell then.
Yeah, I agree. And I always think that you put that in a really smart way. And I think that it's also worth kind of thinking about too, when we've done research, it seems like most people are willing to actually stay and planning on staying in their home longer. And I think I saw that the national average jumped up from what used to be like 5 to 7 years that you'll stay in a home. Now it's closer to 11. And I know that's depending on areas. And I know part of it is because of home values increasing. But even at a really modest increase of 3 to 4% of the market going up every year, you're going to see a return on that investment. That's why real estate is so awesome, because you are able to make that investment upfront for a lot of times less than getting a rental would be. And in the end, you still come out with that equity that can help you build wealth in your life.
Yeah, I see people staying in their homes longer now. Especially with a lot of work from home in general, people just don't need to move, or they want to stay where they're at. But with prices rising and people not obviously wanting to sell for a loss in the future, so they're going to be paying a higher value now. They're going to be staying in their homes, I would think, a little bit longer to make sure that they have the equity when they decide to sell down the road.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I guess that's a good seg into the next big hot button we have for this month, which is inventory levels. So it seems like if people are not talking about how much they're paying over ask, they're talking about the inventory levels. So that was something that I wanted to bring to our market update and chat about. And I think it's kind of going back to what you said at the top of the recording, which is we're kind of running out of ways to talk about how crazy hot this market is. And the inventory issue is fueling a lot of that. So right now we are beginning to see a little bit of an uptick in the numbers that I saw of new listings coming on. But right now, check out this number I saw. We are 77% down in inventory from where we typically should be at this time.
It's quite a bit.
Does that feel like it when you're
it's very, very difficult to find good properties too. Yeah. And I'm watching them for our clients constantly. But yeah, you feel it.
And one thing that I'm seeing too is, and just from looking at the numbers, right now we're getting about 2,000 new listings a week, but typical for this time is about 2,500 new listings a week. So we're already low. Coupled with that, buyer demand is super high. So listings are going under contract either before they even hit the market or shortly thereafter.
Yeah, and when they're not going under contract right away, it's because a lot of agents right now, listing side, are not collecting offers, but they are not responding to offers until a certain day, right? So they list it on a Thursday, then they'll respond, select an offer Sunday night or Monday. So it takes 3-4 days at this point for a lot of listings to go under contract, but unless they sell before while they're in coming soon status or something like that.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because I did see a stat that was presented by Cromford, and I think that they said that the majority of listings are going under contract within 9 days. And I could be a little off on that. But we know that a good portion of that, if not all, are listing agents and sellers kind of dragging their feet to wait out for that quote unquote highest and best.
Yeah, I don't know that it's waiting for the highest and best, or they, receive 17 offers and they have to sort through them, and then they want to make sure everybody has time to get through the home. And some people are still, some agents and sellers are not stacking appointments because of COVID. So they do want to get, with as many buyers are out there, they want to get as many people in the home as possible. So they are setting, every 30 minutes someone's going through the door, and you got 60 people showing the home and 17 offers coming through. So they're taking their time before they respond to any of them.
Yeah, it makes sense.
We just got another client under contract. It was incoming soon. Thank goodness we got into that one. First people to see it, offer in, got it done. And that listing agent, and the reason the seller did take our offer is her listing agent was sending her to a hotel for the weekend so that her property could be seen just nonstop, and she didn't really want to have to leave. So she was like, this offer is good. It's above list. We wrote above list, even though there was no competing offer, in order for her to select our client's offer, and saved her from having to vacate the home for the weekend.
Isn't that interesting? And we've even offered to do that for some of our sellers in certain situations. And we've been in that side where the sellers are like, oh, you know what? We got this early offer. This feels good to us. And if everybody's happy, everybody's happy.
Yep,
why
it made
wait?
sense. So that's where it went.
Crazy. So the last big hot button that I wanted to touch on were mortgage rates.
Okay.
And part of what's been fueling demand are ultra
Well,
low mortgage rates. And
ultra low. Now we're still at ultra low. Because it's still there in the low threes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they are ticking up a little bit.
Yeah.
So tell me where we're at with that.
Well, they're just above 3% is what, most of our buyers are hitting 3.25% maybe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Super low interest rates, up from maybe 2.5, 2.75 a month, a couple months ago or whatnot.
Yeah.
But either way, historically, it's still just such low interest rates. Now, the effect it's had is that you, as an investor maybe, or a second home person, you might be looking to buy with these super low interest rates. And as they're ticking up higher, now that monthly payment as an investment property or a second home, it's rising. So they're slowly not exiting by any means, but they are not, they've lessened in the buyer pool, I would think.
I did see that was a function that they were trying to create in raising those interest rates. And I don't know, I could be wrong here, but I saw something like the typical volume of investor activity was over 10%. And I know they're trying to get that down below 7, but even that seems like a huge market share for just second home or investor buyers. So that'll take care of the constrictions in inventory that's happening from the investors, right? So the hope is that there's going to be more options for the homeowners.
And that's the financed investors.
That's a good point.
Still a big cash pool, sorry.
Yeah.
But there are still investors out there that are beating out our traditional buyers with cash and turning them into rentals.
Yeah.
So there is that too.
It's a really good point to make. It's a good distinction to make. But as hopefully we get a little bit of inventory loosened up for our traditional owner occupants, first time home buyers, second time moving up, they're the ones that need the inventory. They're the ones who are hurting right now. How are we going to see them impacted with even just those slight increases in the rates?
Depending on the dollar amount you're talking about, say you're at a $300,000 price and you're raising your interest rate half a point, that could be, over $100, or maybe not at that calculation, but every half
That's
a point. That's
probably close.
Yeah, I mean, every time you're as these interest rates rise, rather, you're just gonna keep seeing your monthly payment go up.
Right. Which is what really matters.
Right. For a lot of people, when they start looking, they might be renting now. So they might want to keep their payments similar to their rent, or maybe they want to go up a little bit because they know that they're going to own the home. That's the number that they're looking at as their monthly payment. So as these interest rates do continue to rise, I don't know what they're going to do the rest of the year. We've talked about it before, but I don't expect it to get out of hand or anything like that. Because again, they're still so low.
Yeah.
But as they do continue to rise, buyers need to recognize that it will have an effect on their monthly payment. And if it's a percentage jump, that could be several $100 and change the home that you're buying.
Yeah, it's true. And then that, along with rising home values, as the market continues to heat up, that is
because even with these rates going up, I've had conversations with our buyers, you know, some of them have been beaten out in this market, and they've watched their interest rate go from like 2.875 to 3.25, and that's frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
But they get beat out on offers, and they've been asking like, hey, you know, what are we going to do if these rates keep rising? And it's like, well, you're still super low.
Yeah.
Just over time, these are good rates still. So people need to recognize that and hopefully pull the trigger as soon as they have the home and make the right decision for them.
Well, lots of heavy numbers and
Yeah.
lots of data to sift through to find meaning through. So if you have any questions about the things that we've chatted about or what a potential home purchase or sale might look like for you, we invite you to book a call with us. Let's just hop on a quick chat. There's a link below to book a time, and it's not a sales call. It's just a very low pressure discovery call where we can chat about your circumstances, your unique situation, and see how we can help you along your journey to homeownership in the Phoenix market.
And don't forget to hit subscribe if you haven't already, and the bell notification so that you are alerted when our videos go up.
You heard it from him. Okay, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. And until next time, we'll talk soon.